Survivor fans, welcome to Tally the Vote, Survivor Australia, Brain vs. Brawn 2. I am joined here tonight with my co-hosts, my cohorts, my co-parents to this little baby podcast of ours. Hello to David and Christy.
Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Well, it's been kind of a weird Survivor week on every end of the globe, actually, but we're going to go ahead and cover episodes 10, 11, and 12. We're going to prepare our players for their last week pre-merge and then cover the who's and the what's and the why fors of the sudden departure from one of our big boys. So let's get rolling right into episode 10. Episode 10 opens where every post minus Max episode probably should, and that's with Miles sleeping right on Max's sleeping rock. It felt so good. This is like,
I wanted him to be up there, like striking a pose, like putting the leg up, like
like really flaunting his new spot, in the shelter.
But that's okay. He did it in his mind. In his mind, he was doing it.
So he did.
Yeah.
He had to have. And we've got Laura and Zara making a wish somewhere over the rainbow to somehow make their way from the bottom that they now find themselves, while AJ is doing his best to convince everyone on the new blue/teal tribe that they are his number one. None of them are being used as well as Noonan, however. And the hostage taker is longing to up his game and become a puppet master as he sets his sights on Laura and Polly. Polly, very aware of AJ, sees him doing his best to master that art of manipulation, and he knows it's time to make a sacrifice to the survivor gods and cut Noonan in order to save his own skin. The ship is sinking, but Polly's okay because there's only enough room on the wreckage for Mr. Polly Rose. So we should probably take a minute and talk about Polly, because I know AJ sort of has set himself up to be the villain going forward. So there'll be a lot to talk about there. But where are you guys at on Polly's game?
I think Paulie is catching a lot of crap for the being manipulative and what do they call him, the snake oil salesman, and
yeah.
Look, the guy's on the bottom. He knows he's on the bottom. He's trying to wiggle into any crack he can. That's good Survivor. I'm not going to hold it against him. I can't tell you he's my favorite person, but he's fine.
Yeah, he's not he's not the person I like the least, but by any means. I like him. I think he usually his confessionals has some interesting insight. He seems to have kind of a silver tongue.
Yeah.
Which, so like the difference between him and Laura, right? Laura was more like obvious about the things that she was doing, right? Polly's more like, I don't know, it's not sneaky though. It's just smooth. Maybe it's just smoother. It's less abrasive. There we go. There's the difference between the two of them, right?
Yeah, I think Laura leaves room to tell people what she's thinking and what to do, and Polly leaves room for them to come to the conclusion he wants them to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
There's more finesse, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know they did say, and I'm kind of wondering how you guys see this too, but at one point somebody did say something to Polly, and they were like, "Oh, maybe you should be a politician. Look out,
yes.
George."
Yes, look out. George.
To me, it's like, if you took AJ and Polly and put them together into one person, I can kind of see a George in that. But I almost wonder if, like, the attack on Polly, because to me, he doesn't seem like he's doing anything. My own take is that he's not really speaking in a way that's more manipulative than any other player, but it's like he's the counter to AJ, and everyone's afraid to go after AJ.
Well, the hypocrisy alert for AJ. I mean, come on, that guy calling anybody sneaking or conniving or manipulative. I mean,
right.
I mean, although I do have to say, if you're going to compare him to the king, all hail King George. George, if you're listening, you're still my guy.
Still our number one, George.
I hope you're playing Australia versus the world, because I'll be watching. Bring a picture of Douglas. Anyway, I think there's a lot more of a comparison between AJ and George than Paulie and George. I mean, Paulie, where he's at, his game is transparent because it has to be. He only has one move, and that's to try to convince other people to keep him.
Yeah. I think where they get the George energy from is just like literally the way he speaks. Not even what he's
Mhm.
speaking. It's like the voice, the calm like demeanor of the whole thing.
Right.
I think he's got George energy, but AJ's busier. His mind is busier, but maybe not to the par of George, but like guys, you don't have to focus on just Polly. Like there's like another guy here that's actually kind of way more dangerous right now.
Well, but if you look at AJ standing up at the immunity challenge saying, I've taken hostages.
Mm-hmm.
And basically convincing the other tribe to throw the challenge. If you can't close your eyes and picture George doing that exact move,
yep.
I mean, that was definitely a homage there.
It was definitely like a chaos. Throw it out there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he's not totally in control, but just because he says he is, all of a sudden he is.
He is. Mm-hmm.
And people listen to him.
Absolutely.
I think the other thing with Paulie is that he's like, you look at him and you go, oh, he's gonna be dangerous, but he's not annoying. So you don't feel like you got to take him.
Right.
You're not like, oh my God, we got to get rid of him right now. I can't take another moment, right?
Yes.
You're like, oh, we'll get him later. And that's kind of the theme that a couple of other players will have too, right? Like we can get to them. Let's take care of this one that's driving me crazy. So
that seems to be a big thing nowadays is like, let's just get rid of the one that's annoying first. Let's get this gnat, out of here. I don't know. I guess maybe part of it is that I'm biased too, because like I know that if I was in that tribe, like Polly is probably the one that I would buddy up with the most. I'd be like, go sashay in the ocean again, just for funsies. I just let's do
Can
it.
you do a backflip in the water? I'm just curious.
Yes. But everybody has their things.
No, I would too. I think he would be a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like somebody like if you were in a bar in a big group, he'd be the one you want to hang with because he's he's going to be the guy who goes, hold my beer.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, he's gonna make the snarky comment. He's gonna be, oh, slow down there, Jerry.
And then he's going to start the bar fight. He's going to be the only one that doesn't get hit. That's the vibe I get off
he's gonna run out.
Was that me? Yeah.
Whoops.
No, I think he just looks like an enjoyable guy. I mean, but again, yeah, he would be scary because you'd be like, ooh, gosh, he is kind of good. He is likable. I don't know.
Yeah,
well,
smooth
I think that's part of why AJ kind of is targeting him because he doesn't want him to get a toehold because he sees the charisma. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and
they're somewhat similar. They have a little bit of a similar vibe going. So
yeah,
I could see that he goes, "Oh no, you can't be AJ because I'm
There's
AJ."
Only room for one of us.
There can only be one.
So, all right,
only one. That's what it was.
Let's get into the challenge here. The reward is a trip to the Survivor pub. Jesse is super ready to rock. It should come to no surprise, like that Jesse is going to be pumped about the pub. That feels like it would track. Classic AU comp, slap the idols down. It's pretty uneventful. It's run of the mill.
I like the new throw it way high up in the air and just run over and knock the other person's down.
Yeah, just run faster than gravity. If you can do that, you've got it. The Red Brain team wins the reward, and it's chicken parm and beer. Everyone seems to enjoy it.
My pubs don't have chicken parm.
I know it's a little strange for me too. Like fish and chips, maybe a burger.
Yeah, I'm just curious from our folks down under. Is chicken parm, is that like a normal pub food? Like I would see like chips or fries of some sort, right? Apps. If you're in the US, cheeseburgers, whatever.
Some mini chimneys.
In the UK, the fish and chips. Chicken parm is kind of an odd.
You all would be kind of have a hard time in Australia. They'd hand you like a hot dog with a slice of Wonder Bread, and you'd freak out. Oh,
I
it
Oh,
wouldn't,
like,
wasn't in bread.
I wouldn't
listen,
freak out.
I'll
I would
eat
just say
chicken
like
parm. I'm no problem there, but I just
I
don't
would
know that that would be normally found in a pub
I
around
would
here.
eat the hot dog with the Wonder Bread as well. I just think it's
Yeah.
weird that like they don't have the
Well, I
buns.
think it's
I'm
this year
confused.
they didn't have a sponsor for the pub. Like in prior years, they didn't have haven't they had sponsors? Like they've
I
had
don't
Outback
know.
and they've had.
I'm not sure exactly how it goes. Just to me, it's usually like if it's at a pub, it's fried or on a bun, you
So
know?
you're saying right. So you're saying that maybe it was like their version of like Outback's
No, it was
thing.
well
And so
they've always it's been sponsored before,
right,
as I
right. So
recall,
maybe
but
it
it
was supposed to
wasn't
be
this year.
sponsored.
So
It was supposed to be sponsored by a restaurant that was famous for chicken parm,
I
maybe
really
maybe
that we
okay.
don't know.
Here's the deal. If you are listening out there, a person who knows,
If you've got the
is
info,
Australia known for having parm at the pubs? Let us know. It's just it's a curiosity now,
yeah,
and
it just seemed
it's not
weird.
going to go away.
Like,
It's
why
something
make it
that's
a
going to
pub
eat
if
my
you're
brain.
giving chicken parm? If you're doing chicken parm, then do the
The
Italian
wine,
thing with the
yeah.
wine and the I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, it was, everybody's got, a
We might
favorite
be missing
food.
it,
It's not that. It's just it doesn't
but
seem like a
but
pub
if we're
food.
missing a piece to this puzzle, please let us know.
we
Yeah.
definitely are.
Probably, I wouldn't
Well,
be
they're
surprised
all enjoying their chicken parm and back
Parmy,
at
didn't they
camp.
call him
because of
Parma or
course.
Parmy?
Parm. Back at camp, Zara just can't get the OG Brawn of it all to comply to any forward moving alliance. Miles steps in and is done playing Zara's game, and he is sure to call her out on throwing him under the bus. Go, Miles! Good job at that last tribal. And Zara is not pleased that Miles gives no damns. You know what? Like, well, you wrote my name down. Yeah, So good
And
Zara's
job,
having a
Miles.
I
but
love
Zara's
how
having a moment,
condescending she was when she talked to him.
Yeah.
You mean
Is that going to
when?
win over anybody who's behaving in a way you
But
don't
David,
like?
you're claiming that she was condescending and talking to him. She's like that with everyone.
Oh,
Everybody.
and you know what the amazing part is? Logan is 800 times worse.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get
I
to
guess it
Logan.
depends. Again, it
I
depends on
don't
which way that thing rubs you. Maybe you have the sharp part, but I'm not getting it. But
see. This is okay.
not as much. I think
I
I
have to
think
give
Zara's
you
worse.
my I
But
have to give you my
personally,
thoughts on Logan quick, David, because I know that you've mentioned that before in some of our
Mhm.
chats. But here's the thing. Maybe I'm crazy, but to me, the only reason why maybe you're not a big fan of Logan is because she doesn't have a George, because she is Shawnee through and through.
Mhm.
You
Like,
think?
oh, so much, so much. So
Mhm.
to me, when you say that, I'm like, really? Because she's like almost a typecast. Like, she's so much like her. But then I go, but she doesn't have a George, and maybe that's the key.
Well, and so far she hasn't been in a position really to be able to make any moves or any
Real move, yeah,
grand impact on her game yet.
yeah.
But
She hasn't had the opportunity to clench the upper hand, as it were. But yeah, that's I mean, everyone's got their faves, but now okay. So we have an immunity challenge, typical survivor relay race. But it ended up being anything but typical. Keelan is busy. Keelan at the very beginning, first of all, is busy punishing his log. Okay,
Before we move off,
Jonathan.
he chopped that
before we
log
move
so
off the
fast.
reward, JV, I have to mention: have you seen the meme with Kate's face when she's drinking the beer?
No.
She is clearly a mixed cocktail gal. She's like, it's
No,
awesome.
that
And
beer
and
looked
they're
so good too.
and they're creating memes all over Twitter on it.
So I just think
There
how
are
is that
so many Kate
I'm gonna have
drinking
to
the
look
beer
at
face
that, I guess.
memes.
if I am not a beer drinker, I don't like it. It doesn't taste good to me. It gives me a tummy ache. But
If you're on an
I think
island,
if I in that situation where you're not eating, and there's not a variety of things you're eating. That it's just very everyday. It's just blah blah blah, right? Rice, school, yeah. And all you're drinking is water. Man, I would get that liquid beer and I would drink it down so fast you would.
Right?
Thank you,
I
sir.
mean,
May I have another?
just having flavor around would be good.
Carbonation, that feeling of something different in your mouth.
Yep, it'd be
Give me a
great.
break. Give me a break. Anyway,
It would be good. Um, well, okay. And the challenge, there really is nothing exciting in the challenge up until the very end when they get to the portion where they have to start shooting, shooting hoops, throwing the basketball.
And who knew?
And then it suddenly becomes really apparent that Ben is throwing the
Yeah.
competition, and AJ's like, "Hey, you throwing this?" And he's like, "Yeah."
They're both
And they just
trying
like,
to
"Yeah,
lose.
me too, dude."
Yeah.
It's
What do
like,
we do?
well, and I don't feel like AJ was gonna throw it. I feel like he was gonna just play the game, but then he saw Ben was, and then it was like, well, oh, if he wants to throw it, then maybe I need to throw it. Like, I don't think this was an AJ went in with a plan. I think that took AJ by surprise.
Well, and once you had two in, you only had that one ball to play with. So
Just the
every time
one.
you missed, someone had to chase it down and bring it back to you.
Right.
Yes.
So
And it
you don't. You're literally ticking off one of your tribe mates because they
that's
have
all you're
to
doing.
keep bringing it.
You're
Retrieving
just
it.
making them do more work. And in Noonan's case, she ends up rolling her ankle during the entire thing. And it gets to
Oops.
the point where JLP has to play parent and threatens them to turn the car around and send them both to tribal without dinner. It was really weird. And it's funny because I don't know, David, do you ever remember Jonathan like needing to threaten the tribes to a dual tribal?
No, that's never happened before. I got to say, JLP handled that beautifully. I don't know if that's in the rules, but if it wasn't, he made it up on the spot, and it was
He
the
did
right
go
thing to
ahead.
do.
We'll just bring
And the
everybody
funny
to
part
tribal.
is, I said as soon as he said it, I said to the TV, no one else in the room, but I said, you're not going to do that because that would mean yet another double non-elimination episode, and you're not going to do that.
Well.
So I knew it was an empty threat.
Sure,
but-
but they don't know in that moment. And like the last thing any of them want to do is to get on his bad side.
But I gotta point out, this is production's fault. That happened. The shuffling the tribes occurred too early, and
It did feel early.
you created an incentive to lose.
That's true. With it being so heavy, like each tribe being so heavily weighted with the
Yep.
original tribes.
So
Yeah.
you're better off to lose and let the other tribe kick somebody off.
But
Yeah.
they
And
didn't
that
figure
way-
that out until AJ brought it up to them, though.
Right,
did
but the
they?
point is, once it was brought out, everyone realized the smart move is to lose.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
then
I think-
suddenly
so
it
if
was
production creates a situation where the smart player is gonna try to lose, why be mad when they do it?
Now, in the Survivor that we've seen from different countries, we've not really seen that played quite that much. We've seen tribes lose because they want to get rid of one player, but not in this kind of situation where they're
Right.
losing on purpose just to weaken the other tribe, right?
Well, the other OG tribe, what's happened in
Correct,
this
correct.
case is the OG tribes have decided to play together, which is unusual after a swap.
They've decided they
Right.
don't need to even win these people over to their side. Screw 'em, they'll
Nobody's
just get rid
really
of 'em.
jumped, and even the people willing to jump aren't accepted because the other side has a big enough majority they don't need it.
Do you think this will
Yeah.
be something we see more often now that it's
I don't
out
know. I
there
think
as
it
a-
played off. I
as
think
a
it played
s-
bad.
as a strategy?
Well, I mean,
It-
if you consider how many seasons overall internationally that there is a Survivor that involves a shakeup in the tribes, it's usually you pick rocks or you pick the buffs, and that's how the tribes form themselves. This has never really been an issue,
Right.
Right.
because usually that's a successful format. It gets, sometimes it's a heavy weighted switch around where you only
Yeah,
have
but-
like one or two people from one
But
tribe
they've
and then
never done
everyone
this.
else. But they
They
haven't
just look at 'em like,
manipulated
oh,
it.
if we have to go, we have some easy votes. If we have
Right.
to go, but they
Right.
haven't just straight up gone, no, we're losing, so we can get rid of them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
No.
interesting, and I'm going to give AJ the props to finding the weak spot in that plan and exploiting it.
it's just it's so simple because we
Mhm.
lose, one of theirs go home. We
Yep.
win, one of ours go home. Why would we
Exactly.
win?
Why would
We
we
know-
win?
And so,
Exactly.
so I blame production. I blame JLP. You know what? This is a production error,
Yeah.
not a player error. Players played perfectly logically.
He
Right,
found
the best
something
way
to
they can.
manipulate. So good for him.
Yeah, exactly. You know who's not happy about it
It's
though?
like Russell, sorry, but it's like Russell running out and finding
Yes.
idols without clues.
Yes.
It's that
Yep.
kind of
Yep. They
oh,
never
shoot.
even
Right.
thought.
never Woof. And now never even thought of playing it this way.
And
I
now
mean,
that's, I bet you more idols are found without clues than are found with clues now.
yep. Or at least
Absolutely.
50-50.
Yes. That we are aware of, that they're not pointing at the
Right.
Well, that
idol.
we don't know if there's somebody
Slipping it
like
under their
with a
pillows.
neon sign going, "It's
Right.
here."
Right. Anyway,
Well,
really interesting.
okay. So
So
Noonan is big mad because she hurt her foot. And you know what? Here's the thing. All of the Noonanisms aside, I do feel for her in this situation. Was like, you should have just told me you were going to throw it and I wouldn't have chased the damn ball and we all could have just had a seat. We didn't have to fake it if everyone was throwing it and I didn't have to roll my ankle.
but I don't think AJ, like David said, I don't think AJ was planning to do that until he
No,
kind of
I don't think it was a plan. But I think he's being treated it like it was a plan because he's
Yeah.
already painted himself,
But even so, my answer, if I was AJ at Noonan, would be, "You're going home. I don't care about you.
Don't worry, darling. You're gonna have plenty of time.
You're going to have more to worry about than that ankle shortly."
Yeah, so you'll be fine.
Well,
it's gonna be able to
AJ puts himself in a position where he doesn't feel comfortable just pointing that out because he has like spent this entire time building Noonan up like, I got you, you got me, we are one, you know.
But that was simply just to kind of keep her and Paul, try to put a wedge between her and
But
Paulie.
also look at who she is. If you saw, like, if you were there, you witnessed how everything went down with her historically, with Urs and all that. Like, this is somebody you don't want to openly cross until it's time for her to go because she's going to dig her heels in. And she's going to drive you nuts and make sure everyone around hears everything she has to say, and it could end you.
And Paulie
You
could
know?
just sit over there and go, "Oh, it's not gonna be me." Okay.
Right? And Polly will like go, "Oh yeah, you know," as we find out. So okay. So we got Noonan and she's upset and she's hurt her foot. Now where I was curious is that unless we just didn't get to see it because of everything, but it seems like AJ didn't actually tell them that Ben was the first one who initially threw the challenge, and I kind of questioned the hell out of that, like the entire episode, until Ben's departure down the road. I've concluded that us not seeing that conversation was probably entirely on purpose because I cannot imagine. Can you imagine a world where AJ's all like, "Oh yeah, I totally threw it, and it was my plan." Though, I mean, like if they're all coming at him about it, it's very simple to go, "Dude, Ben started it."
Well, and it'd be very
Like,
easy to tell
Ben
Noonan
was throwing it.
Right?
So,
Tell Noonan like he didn't care to,
Well, and that's what he should have said to the other brains is, "Look, they were trying to throw out one of our players on the other side."
But that's why I question. I don't feel like AJ would have not turned that rock over. I think, again, production didn't show us that conversation.
Probably.
Given what we know down the road,
I think that's fair.
They just minimized Ben's edit as much as possible. And they couldn't really edit that out of the end of that competition because it led to everything else.
Another thought I had when that was going on, they were throwing it. They're both up high, and like everyone else is kind of down below, and they start having that conversation. It didn't seem like other people were catching on that they were even having a conversation.
No, not at all.
I'm really surprised they didn't take the opportunity to maybe try and talk about some other things too. And maybe they did and we didn't see it. But I thought that was also interesting.
It was like it was
each other out. Like
it was a weird interaction, and it was an interesting interaction, where AJ was like, "Wait a minute, what are you doing?" I don't know. We don't get to see a lot of that.
Game recognizes game, right? They were
right.
Like, I see you.
I mean, I'll give it to the guys on these tribes this year. It's like whenever AJ pulls something shady, there's at least two set of eyes that are looking at him like, "Damn, I wish I would have thought of that first."
AJ does not. He's not afraid. Oh wait, no. He's a poker player. That's why.
That's it. That's it exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
So okay, Noonan's going to try to clean AJ's clock. He's going to turn the dial up. He takes his aim at Noonan. Logan, Karen, Keelan start to tighten their alliance against AJ, and in order to do so, Keelan officially enters into his sheepdog era because he's not going to be a retriever? He's not a retriever anymore. Now he's going to nip at their heels. He's going to be tough now, guys. But you know what?
I think he's always been a sheepdog.
I kind of have a feeling I've said it to Chris multiple times. They need to look out for Keelan.
He's my
They
winner's
ne
pick, remember?
they need to look out for him.
The way he's like, everybody loves him. And for multiple reasons, more and more as the games go on or the days go
Mhm.
on. And he's just very steady,
Yep.
right? They're coming to him going, and he's like, we need to do this first.
Yeah, he's just taking it
And
in.
then
Yep.
we'll think about that. And so no, I think he could be,
Yep, he's
unless
not
they get
being
afraid of his muscles.
not too loud, not too boisterous, not too silly, just
He's
enough
not
to
a
be
Simon.
involved.
He's not a big
Right.
Yeah,
brawny guy
he's
that's gonna
playing.
run his
He's
mouth.
playing a little bit of a mark game without being big and broad. He just sort
Yeah,
of
yeah. I
kind of
could see
below the
that.
radar, not saying a lot.
That's actually, that's pretty good actually. And
Mhm.
that could
Yeah.
work for a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, AJ's gonna just keep trying his hand in a little bit of puppetry with Logan and telling her, I can't cut you. It's impossible. It's actually impossible for me to even fathom it. Polly's the one that's got to go. So Noonan finally breaks emotionally. She finally has had it. She gets to a point where she's crying, has herself a momentary, tear fest, and then takes a breath. And as a last attempt at saving her game, she lets Logan in on AJ's attempt to throw her under the bus. Which, I mean, you hang in there, girl. Do what you got to do.
which she more or less created, right?
Yes.
Yes. So then we're going to head over to Tribal, and Polly backs up and repeats to Logan that AJ has thrown her name under the bus. AJ senses the danger in the
Which
water.
must have been coordinated.
Sure.
I mean, yes.
Hail Mary for the two of them,
Right. Like, we got to try to save each other if we can. AJ uses his idol.
Can I point out that Logan fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Some people cannot handle knowing that their name was
She's
said.
not a good game player. I'm sorry.
It's just
not going to be
knowing
my
your
favorite.
name.
No, I don't disagree with you on that point. Like,
Yeah,
she
knowing
got
your
way
name is there.
too-
You have to like take in that your name was said and assess like, okay, what do I do about that without showing it to
Right.
people.
You don't have to forget that someone told you
Mhm.
that. You just have to appear
But-
that you forgot.
Well, and the
right?
other thing is,
Right.
'Cause
she's
you got
now
a lot of games to
shown
play.
she's exposed previously propensity for that behavior, which is why Noonan targeted her specifically with this plan, because she knew
She'd
that
be
Logan would
insecure.
overreact.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. So,
But
okay,
I thought AJ
Logan.
was pretty convincing in telling her that it was. I don't know.
I feel like he
I felt
played
bad.
She
it.
doesn't hear a thing he says anymore.
No,
She dislikes him
because
so
she hates
badly.
him.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
she just hates him. But
I
I
would hope
feel
that
like
the rest of his people would believe him. Like,
yeah, and I think
Clearly they're
he
doing it.
did as well as he could, given the situation that there were two people both saying, "Nope, you definitely said it." And though Polly loves his people, much as we predicted it would go, Polly's idol was used to protect himself. We kind of figured, right off the bat when he found the idol and Noonan kept looking for that idol, that it was going to come back
Oops.
around and Polly was going to save
Oops.
his own butt. He protects
but
himself.
good
Noonan
for
goes
him.
home.
I mean, it'd be
Yeah, you
stupid if
gotta.
he did
It's
it.
your
Come on.
idol. Do what you gotta
Yeah.
do with it. Noonan goes home with 2 votes. The best part of all of this is that both of those votes have come from her own alliance. It wasn't everybody else. It was her people that voted her out, which really
Mhm.
sucks for her.
Though
Um,
I don't know how much Kristen's their people now.
Yeah, I know. She's kind of she's got some moves that she's making.
Well, I
I'm
think
not sure.
she's another one you got to watch out for.
I would agree.
Because when was it Paulie was trying to convince her to use the idol on him, and she's was very convincing, like, yeah, that's a good
Right?
idea. And she's like, as soon as you leave, she's like, as if
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do
that's
that.
ever gonna happen.
Like that's
think
gonna happen.
I think before the tribes shuffle, I think that maybe she wasn't getting a lot of screen time. I'm wondering if her tribe wasn't giving her very much as interaction and stuff like that.
I think that might be part of it too.
And so AJ starts talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, someone wants to talk to me." Okay.
Oh yeah, now I
Yeah.
can be used. Well, I'll let you guys know what Noonan's final words were leaving the game. She said that I know Polly and Kristen wrote my name down tonight. I hope that they wouldn't. I'm devastated that I'm not in the game, but when you have a dream for so long, 21 days is better than one, so I'll take it. And I hope everyone saw how cool of a person I am because I'm so fun and I never cry.
She cried.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
That's the joke, David. Sarcasm.
I'm okay with Noonan leaving. Sorry,
Eh.
Noonan.
Yep.
Imagine being able to.
You know what? Not my favorite.
No,
Bye.
no, and
Yep.
only because she would just have annoyed me. She's a tough chick, tough chick. You know what I
Yeah. Oh,
mean?
for sure.
Oh, no
She's
doubt
got
she's a
many,
badass.
many fine qualities. I just think camp life would have been a little. Oh my god.
She definitely has the baby of the family syndrome going on.
Yes, yes.
And I don't know if she is,
And
but she
then like,
carries it.
and then like the insecurity of like if you don't take her seriously, like they have to really like put up a front
Now,
because whatever.
Getting tough.
so we go post tribal, and I think this was still in the episode where Kieran goes crazy and like is mad at AJ for not telling her that he had an idol.
That starts on episode 11 because we go directly from tribal and we start out on episode 11 with them getting back to camp. And that's when, and listen, like you're talking about like Karin getting mad at AJ because he used an idol. She is like really, I'm gonna say this
because
later on.
We were gonna vote you out. If you didn't have that idol, you'd have gone home.
She was so openly angry about it.
Yeah.
It was a little bit much.
Do you think it was because she got outsmarted and now he knows she's a snake? And
no, I have an idea of what it really is. Like, hold on one second. We'll bring her back around to Karin.
okay.
But before we do, AJ is like pleading with Polly to admit to Logan that all of his and Noonan stuff was a lie, and Polly repeats like, "No, you did in fact say Logan."
That was the point though, where I'm like, they have to see that he's telling the truth because no one would beg that much,
right?
Because now you're putting yourself at jeopardy. That like it's a little too much. You know what I mean? It could go either way.
But the funny part of all of it is between the Karin of everything and the Polly of everything, like Logan is living her best life. She is like loving seeing AJ just be in so much hot water. But Karin is really upset about that idol. And then she claims that she is living in a hostile takeover. And there's a really great song out right now all about that, just an FYI. But I mean, clearly it frustrated you guys, right? AJ just is saving himself.
I don't think
it doesn't make sense because he gave them the numbers that they needed to stay in the majority. So actually he helped them.
He saved them all. Anyone from his original tribe, the original Brains tribe, who is still there, has him to thank.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
He took control of it, saved himself, but all of them too.
Yep.
And for her to get so mad, you didn't tell me. And he was like, it's a secret hidden immunity. Hidden. Like what? Like
and Keelan,
and if I would have told you, I'd be gone right now.
Right. Like
there's a reason I didn't tell you, and it's because you're a snake. I don't know why he didn't say that.
Or I was going to be for my gameplay, so
or did she vote for Polly?
No, Polly needed to use his.
Who did she vote for?
AJ did not need to play his.
No, he had one vote. Was it?
No, I thought he had two, didn't he?
Let me.
Polly was definitely the majority.
Yeah, Polly is the one who had the most. Let's see. Polly had 4. AJ had 1. Noonan went out on 2.
So it was just Noonan who voted for him.
So yeah, it does make it sound like Karen's like, oh, if I would have been able to, if I would have known, then I could have gotten, we could have voted you out. In which case,
see, okay, so Keelan gets it. Keelan seems to understand that the numbers are in their favor. I think Karen's problem is because AJ, she says it's because, well, you're my alliance and member and you should have told me the truth. But I honestly think what she's actually so upset about is because she's been looking for a way to put a wedge and a line between her and AJ and didn't know how to get out of it. I don't think
Okay.
she likes him. I don't think she's wanted to be in an alliance with him, but she just didn't know where else to be. She's found a spot that she can go and she's more comfortable, but she's got to find a way to make it like there's a reason for me leaving you because she doesn't want AJ coming for her.
It is not smart for her to do that, though. She
I
needs him for
agree.
a while. It's
But
too soon,
even the way
girl.
she handled this, he's absolutely going to be sus at her.
I would. Just like if anybody's that mad at you
Yes,
about
but
something like that.
he definitely will keep that in his mind, but I don't think he'll act that way outwardly to her. Do you know what I mean?
No.
'Cause
He's
he
a poker
is
player. He's
poker
not going to
player,
act that way to
yeah.
anybody.
Right.
But I mean, you have to be sus of everybody, don't you? Kinda.
Right, but I'm saying
That's
one
the
of the
game,
worst
yeah.
things.
Definitely-
One of the worst things you can do in Survivor is be openly hostile or mad at anybody, which
Right.
is why I think Logan is playing an awful game because you know what she's thinking.
I
You
don't think outside of AJ, I don't see it. I maybe we're all wrong, David, but I just don't see
Well, there's no question where she stands, right?
Sure.
So when there's no question where you stand, a good player can play around that. They know exactly where the person is and who not to trust. And
But the
the
thing is-
secret of a great player, a George, is going to whisper in your ear or make you think you're perfectly safe before he slits your throat.
Or tell you that it's God's decision that they have to leave.
Yes. Or Douglas. Douglas whispered it to me.
Well, Polly sees all the chaos, and guess what? Polly realizes that this is his opportunity to take the reins. He says that he wants them to want him, and you know what? There's a really great song out there.
There's a really great song.
So, okay, we're gonna move over on our tribes. Now we've got Morgan, feeling it's time to make new friends, willing to kind of wiggle out of that original alliance, thinks a new alliance is the best move, and she and Kate pull in Laura and Zara to form Girls Gone Wild.
And immediately I went, oh, David's got a timer set.
David's got to push the button. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
We're not going to talk about the 3 all-male alliances that have fallen apart before we even hit merge, but sure.
Or the fact that this alliance won't even make it to the end of the episode. Great.
It really won't. So, but you know what? This is happening, and Jesse's like, you know what we need? Jesse says, we need a mega alliance. Well, I mean, sure, that's a way you can play it. It works in games like Big Brother, but kind of a mega alliance is supposed to happen right at the very beginning of a game.
Also, his mega alliance is dumb because it proposes that when we get to merge, we're going to pull all the bronze in, but we're going to keep you away from your brains and we're going to keep you here, right? Because you're more loyal to us than your OG tribe, even though
you don't care about
you will
them.
literally be the bottom of the bronze alliance.
We're not going to be that important to us, but we want to hang with you.
We know that you guys are the brains, but you'll never figure that out, right?
So, okay, all right, Jesse. That's like cool. That's a good plan when you're all going to like have a camping hangout, but maybe not.
Except they're the ones that are going to have all the road rash, not him.
Yeah, it's a thought, Jesse. It's a thought. So, then we're going to jump into the longest challenge of the season. David, why don't you give us the play-by-play on that one?
So basically, the teams divide and they take polls, and what they have to do is hold up a very, very heavy trough filled with colored water. And one tribe decides, screw this, and lets the water fall. And the end of challenge.
Hey,
it lasted about 2 minutes.
It was boom.
It was okay, and everyone's acting like, oh no, it wasn't me. I didn't. What do you guys think? Like, do you think it was thrown, or do you just
holding it?
Yeah, she's like, I wasn't that hard.
I had it.
What do you
think? It was the brains that threw it, right?
No.
Got that right?
No, it was Brawn.
Was it red or blue that threw it?
Or, well, wait a minute. Sorry.
It was red. Right?
It was red, right. And because the only one I thought was trying was Miles.
It's always Miles.
Yeah.
Miles is there to play.
Miles is quietly moving from most annoying player to legendary status.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew
he really is.
I'm glad he has.
He's quiet like a muad'Dib.
Yeah,
And
and
they just think look at that fool. He's so weird. What, you know?
right. He's so different. He's so different than us. So we're going to head back to the Red Brains camp, and we've got Laura and Zara and Miles scurrying through the jungle. They're on an idol hunt. The remainder of the tribe is gathering around the well to have a little discuss, and they decide it's best to split their votes between Laura and Miles. And Jesse is certain, he's certain that he can get those girls to do his bidding. While that's happening, Morgan gathers those girls gone wild and then informs them of the Well Walkers' plan, and Laura passes that info all the way back to Miles. So Jesse is going, something feels off. Something feels off. And not everybody is doing everything I want, and people are talking to each other. So then he thinks, perhaps the control I thought I had over the girls was a little bit exaggerated in my own head, and they could pull a Swifty. Now, stop.
A Swifty. I know.
What is that? What do they like? All just sit down and start making friendship bracelets? What is
Yes.
pulling a Swifty?
I heard that and I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Make
like
some friendship pins for your tennis shoes and some
yeah,
bracelets, and we're gonna sing some songs, braid each other's hair.
it's all right. It's a new one.
Sounds like a
Um,
good time.
Yeah. The boys think, you know what? We need another number, so let's pull in Miles. And then they go for Laura, leaving them in the majority. Miles, he's doing a great job. He's playing along. He names the band of boys the Hunks with a Z, with a Z.
After the tattoo on
Jesse's tattoo.
Jesse,
Yes.
Yeah.
His intentions
he
don't
has a
seem very
couple.
pure, but he's given them the belief that he's with them. Still searching in the jungle. Laura just happens across an advantage and shows that to Zara. And Zara gets big mad because they see it before we're told what it is.
Yeah.
Zara's reaction kind of started spelling it out for everybody.
Yeah.
But
Did you guys figure it out before they actually said it, what it was?
once she started being really mad and saying, like, my game is
Oh.
screwed now, yes.
See, I thought it was going to be Laura was immune and couldn't go to tribal, and then she figured she was didn't have the numbers
that would have been
anymore.
a good
I thought it was going
conclusion
to be
too.
like
So
that,
that's
but
where
she
I
gonna-
was. So I
she
was
was-
completely wrong.
I thought she was going to be able to use it at a tribal to like get up and leave and not have,
Right, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
then
thought
she
too.
couldn't vote, and therefore,
Right, which
Sure.
would
so
then
Laura's
they
like,
would-
we needed your vote, and you
right,
effed
because
this
otherwise
up.
we're done
Right.
for if we can't jump with someone and have
Well,
and
Zara's
shoot
like
that.
really, really upset. And okay, before I get into all of the Zara-ness of everything, I can't blame her because she's right. She has assessed where she sits in this situation.
I mean, she's barely hanging on.
Right. I don't blame her for being upset about it, and I don't blame Laura for saying, hey, I want you to see this, because they have worked together now through this entire game. I don't think that either one was in the wrong place up until that point. But then they're going to head to tribal, and Laura has to explain to the tribe that the person who's voted for goes over to Brawn. And I love this because Miles, a man of science, asks,
was he
what should our goal be?
required? Was she required? I'm sorry, what were you saying? Miles said what? I interrupted.
He asked, what should our goal be? He's not getting emotional. He's not saying, okay. He is a man of science, and he stops and he's rational, and he thinks, like, if we send her over, what are we sending her over for?
Like a true
so let me
D&D
ask you a
player, he
question.
thought about he did strategize it. Like, let's
Yep.
look at big picture here. What's going to be best for us? How should we
So
do this?
was he required to tell everybody?
No.
Was she required to say what the advantage was?
Correct.
In
other words, if the advantage was the knowledge that that's what was happening that night, the advantage only lies in the fact that you're the only one who knows. Once everyone knows, there's no advantage.
I don't know that she had to say it, but
right. So if she didn't have to say it, that's a huge advantage because you manipulate it, and then the other side goes, "Oh."
But she told Zara, and Zara
like
was
they think they're
making
sending
it
you home,
clear.
but they send you to safety. Yeah.
Zara is the worst.
That's how
because Zara was like, why don't you tell them what you got? So she kind of had to do it before Zara could pull her out for it and kind of paint a more negative picture about the entire thing. So then you have Ben, who is apparently a man of faith, thinking, oh, but if we put Zara over there, she could stop AJ's chaos. she can calm the waters over there, and maybe that's what we need. I don't necessarily know that I would have wanted to send Zara over there thinking that, because to me, let that chaos be over there. Let them have that chaos. Like, you don't need to send one of your people over to tame it and then lose that person when you merge. Like, I don't know. I didn't think it was great
It's
on.
like it was like he felt Zara was so much on their side that that he said, like, why wouldn't they have wanted to send one of theirs over there to help with the numbers, to help solidify maybe another one wouldn't go home,
Yeah,
right? Because they had lost a couple
I
over there.
don't quite understand the rationale behind it, but at the end of it, out of a vote of 4-2, Zara becomes Brawn, and Laura is pissed. And we are going to take a 7-second break for commercial. All right. So we go right from that tribal.
Wait, you forgot the best, most important thing. Or
Oh,
the
yeah.
most
And we're
terrifying
back.
thing.
Lay it out. What is it? What is it?
And
I
we're
don't know.
back.
David lives in
He's a different
he
time
lives
zone.
in his own like world of
I was like,
Loganness.
what are you talking about? No, this most frightening thing was how they kept editing, and I don't know if she was really doing it, if they just kept doing it. Playing Zara's laugh, it was freaking me. It started to freak me out.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
So
as she's leaving,
that's a really
as
good.
she's leaving
I love that you
tribal.
said that. Okay. So I have this theory.
I didn't
All
like
right.
it.
Because I've had a few conversations with, some of the things about AU that we see a lot. And we've talked about that, I want a name, we have to name our, the villains have to give themselves names and what have you. Now, I'm thinking that quite often we have somebody say something once or twice, and then they just play that soundbite consistently throughout the rest of the season, because the person I'm bringing up this is Jordan. The whole I'm the yes,
You like that?
yes, just like that. But like you look at Jordan, when he was the Joker, right? He'd always say like, "Oh, the Joker thrives in chaos, thrives in chaos." But like you really only see him say it one time, and all the other times it's like a voice over. I kind of think we saw that happen earlier in this season, when sorry, I'm already losing names. When we got the, bomb squad, bomb squad, bomb squad.
Yeah. No,
Bomb
he
squad.
really did say it that many times. I'm sorry. That was real. That was real.
So
time.
the point of this is I would wager that Zara laugh is just something that's going to be on a repeat, because it is
so you
kind
don't
of
think
its own
she's
thing.
really doing that? Because
I think she did laugh.
Oh, I'm going back
but
and getting the Zara lap. It'll be on repeat on the next episode of Tally the Votes.
Thanks, great.
That's what
You're gonna
happens
have
when
to
you
repeat
when you let David
That's
take
when
the
we'll
wheel.
have the least viewers ever.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it right after Christy's comment.
It's gonna be
No,
it's gonna be funny.
I'm gonna do a mashup.
It sounds so fake, but
I gotta
also
get Brian
so
to help me.
like in your face laugh,
Yeah, it was like snotty, right?
Oh,
like it's kind of
yeah.
snotty.
And they kept playing it like she was walking out doing it. I hope she wasn't, because that's no wonder Laura's pissed.
Well, and Zara takes that laugh and pulls it right in through to the beginning of episode 12. And
Yeah,
guys,
keep it
listen,
What I don't understand
I would
is why
love to
doesn't
give you the titles of these episodes, but as of this morning, they still didn't have the titles up.
the title of episode 12, which occurred on day 24 and day 25 in
Bring
the
it,
game,
Davey.
with a full 23 days left to play, looking at US. The title of the episode was By Any Means Necessary.
All right. I can approve.
Because I have the wiki pulled up.
Yeah, like literally though, they did not have it up. At 1:00 in the morning, it was still not up.
See,
I'm sorry. It's just what the doctor ordered. The challenge was By Any Means Necessary.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
I thought you were talking about the one before that.
Just what the doctor ordered. That
Yes.
makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah, just what the doctor ordered was episode 12.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, okay. Zara is just, doing her evil laugh. She's super happy to be back with her alliance members,
Waking him up at night with that laugh.
waking them up. Jesse and Kate are nervous and agree that Zara needs to be cut at merge. And Miles continues his search for the idol that's back in play. And guess what? He finds it.
No.
Way to go.
He found it before the challenge?
What a good job. What a good job, Miles. Miles finds it exactly
The
in the
idol
order that I
part,
just
yeah.
Oh,
told
yes,
you.
he did. He did. Indeed.
Because he was on quite the fact-finding mission
Yeah,
this
he was
episode.
he was collecting. He was on an Easter egg hunt for all the best
He
goodies.
was very, and if those meatballs had something to give him, he would have taken that too.
He would have taken it all. Now, Karin is still steaming about AJ and talks about how much she wants distance, which is great because as she's talking about wanting distance, he's like literally shadowing her like everywhere she goes. And he eventually gets a moment with Zara and gives her a debriefing, and he and Zara decide that it is time for Polly to go. They both agree to going after Polly. And then we jump into our reward challenge. And Chrissy, I think this one's yours.
Okay, so this one was a really cool challenge because they had to run up the stairs, go down the wet, slippy slide, and I was really hoping it was going to be wet enough because have you ever been with short pants on and it it's not slippery enough? You just kind of
Is this the reward challenge or the immunity challenge?
A reward.
I think you're backwards, aren't you?
Nope, this is the reward challenge.
The reward is going to be, what did they call it?
Oh, the reward.
The spaghetti hut.
Pasta bar or something?
Yeah, the spaghetti hut.
Oh, so this is go down the slippy slide and then fight with each other.
So they got to go, and then they have to grab the hoop, and whoever gets it, they have two stumps.
Did you notice that at the top of the slide, now I could be misinterpreting what I saw, but I think that there was up at the top of the slide in the very first two that went down, I think there was like a trough of water that they sat in.
It was like
so like you weren't dry.
Water.
Right.
Because you do not want that.
No, there was a trough behind that, Christy. You could sit in it and then be all wet. And then there was also water spraying at the top.
All right.
Yeah, they wetted themselves.
They only showed it. They showed the girls do it. And then they showed Miles
dampened
like bathing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so they go down. We get ladies first. It was Kate, wasn't it? Kate and whatchamacallit in the first? Kate and who don't you like? Logan? Wasn't it Kate and Logan first?
Was it that you don't like, David? Was that?
They went up against each other. Okay, well, the ladies and Logan got that one, didn't she? I'm gonna get these wrong. And then we had one of the anyway, it all culminates in the where 2-2 tied up, and it gets up there, and it's gonna be Keelan and Petey.
Oh yeah.
And immediately I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a good challenge, right? This one's gonna be good. And boy, were they going for it, right? And then there was that moment, and I don't think Keelan did anything. That was not like it was just
it landed.
He pivoted his body a little bit, and it was like that pressure was just too much.
Well, and I thought about that. Why people? Because what I would have done in that is I would have attempted to twist it so that they lose their grip. Right.
Correct. Well, you want to go this way, right? Like
right, and that's more or less what he did. And one of the biggest dude's arms just popped, man. It was. And
so do you think the pop noise was edit, or do you think we're hearing the pop noise?
Well, the contestants said they heard it.
Yeah, everybody said they heard it.
I think they added maybe a little enhancement.
Maybe like a little.
But I'm fairly certain that when certain body parts break, you can't hear it.
Oh God. Well, I don't know, but it doesn't matter if it was like a fake edit or not.
There's a guy I work with that tore his bicep like that, so I'm going to ask him if he heard it. I'll report back next week. But so yeah.
No, they said he tore the tendon that attached the bicep.
Correct, but it's that thing. Well, it'll snap up. He'll have to go in.
Oh my God!
Well, it didn't tear all.
I thought it was down here.
Yeah,
right. It's down in the arm, but it didn't tear all the way. No, because if that comes loose, it goes up into your shoulder. It pops up like
just like doing an Achilles does. Just like an Achilles does in your
elastic band, because it's up there now.
It's literally my nightmare.
Yeah,
I
yeah, you
really
don't want to do that.
appreciate that Keelan was so genuinely upset.
Oh my God, is he not your freaking favorite now? I
I
wanted to
do like him.
cry for him. You could see that he felt so horrible to the idea that he had hurt someone, had
Yep,
been too aggressive, and that his gameplay had actually caused someone an injury. And I'm fairly certain it's not just the injury. It's, oh my gosh, he could have injured himself so that he can't play the game anymore. And the idea that
that was it, yeah.
that you'd be a part of taking someone's dream away,
Mm,
um
he did not
and
like that.
he did not like it, and everyone's hugging him, and they're like, it's fine, he's laughing now, it's fine, he's gonna be fine, he's gonna be fine.
He's
And
so
then
fucked now.
they get him all wrapped up, right? They get, and they're like, you rest on it tonight, fine. um and they had run that last thing, so it was gonna be the the brains OG brats that were gonna go to
These crazy
the pasta
merges, how,
spaghetti hut.
the scrambles are so,
So it was
confusing.
I really liked the challenge. They've had so many
Well, and
good
then the
ones this
last one
year.
was Kieran
Yeah,
and who?
Oh yeah, they're gonna put Kieran up against
Laura.
Laura.
Mhm.
Or no, Zara Laura, right? Was it
It was
Zara Laura?
Kieran, wasn't it?
Was it Karen?
Yeah.
See, I told you I was gonna get it wrong. There was too
Now
many. The whole getting injured thing really threw me off. But yeah, Laura did not give up.
Oh no, it
And
was Laura and somebody, wasn't it?
I thought it was her and
And
Zara.
Laura won.
And Laura won.
Yeah,
but
so it
Because
yes,
she
wasn't.
could
yes,
not
is
let go. Yes, it was her and Zara. Thank you very much. Because when they
Yeah,
started
it
because
making
was.
comments, Zara
right.
goes, "Oh, I hear you told them all how angry you are with me." When she's acting like it's not a big deal, right? Like,
Well, because the second that Petey's down and injured and they go, "Okay, the doctors are here,"
Oh,
Laura takes that opportunity to go over to Logan and tell Logan
yes,
what Zara pulled at
and of
tribal,
course Logan immediately goes from 0 to 180, and now she hates Zara.
yeah,
good.
whatever.
Hate her
But
then.
but I'm just saying
Whatever.
she's
Go
very
for it.
manipulatable because of the way she
It
behaves.
is.
Now
But I think Laura's like that too. Again, these are two women that were in the majority
Well,
alliance at one point, and they blew it all up
but
and
I don't
can't seem to get out
understand
of their way. They just
but
the two of them
okay,
couldn't figure it out.
am
why
I
can't Laura just cast a hex
well, hold on one
on the
second,
other
David.
tribe?
For one, you gotta remember that in their original
She needs
the
their hair,
original
David. She needs some
lineups,
of their hair.
in their, like, original,
That's why I'm saying.
alliances, wasn't
Exactly.
Laura and Logan, they were each other's. They
Mhm.
were each other's, like,
They
crew,
have been since like day one, right?
Yep.
and it was Zara and Kate that were paired up. So,
No, it was Zara and no, her name was not Kate.
it's not
Was
Kate,
it?
was it Karen? Was she with Karen?
No, it's yeah. There were 5 of them. It was
Because
Laura.
Kate
Right,
was originally Brawn.
but regardless, the point
We've lost one
is
of the
that
Bambies.
Laura going to Logan and saying, "Hey, I could have been there with you. We could
Hmm.
be back together, but she did this."
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
anybody is going to be like, "Oh, no kidding," and now you're going to be
But
mad at
no,
Zara.
you know what? When they sent Zara over, they did the right thing. Sending Laura over there would have been Laura and Logan. Well, okay. Depends on your point of view, right? If the Bronze really wanted to get AJ out, they should have sent Laura because she and
Yes,
Logan would have wanted to
yes,
get AJ out. But they
yes.
didn't. They didn't. They picked Zara, and Zara's gonna now pick off the rest of the Bronze,
Can
I
I
think.
throw a conspiracy thought process out?
Okay. Sure.
You know how Ben was like pretty adamant about sending Zara over there to tame AJ. Do you think maybe it was more of that's how we keep AJ there because I'm working with that guy?
Oh no.
Because they're the two that are throwing everything. They like have
And
their weird
talking to
like
each other.
bond. Yeah.
You
See?
know what? This is going to be something we'll never know because there's some other conspiracies out there
It's
keeping
just
us from this
conspiracies are afoot.
conspiracy.
But the
We're
whole
almost
thing is
there,
with
guys. We're almost there.
Laura's explaining to Logan about Zara, and then it's like then Zara gets pulled to go next, and that was what's next in my notes is that they go, okay, who's gonna go against Zara, and Laura like volunteers as
Yeah.
tribute, and
Yeah.
it's like, yep, I'll
And
go.
so and that was like, sure, let him get it out. But I really wish that whole thing would have been like, Zara would have been like, Laura, you got it out of your system now. Feel better. You got one
Yeah,
over on me. You get to go have
keep the
spaghetti.
beef going.
Can we squash it now? Like seriously. Because it's not in either one of their games for
No,
Laura to act that way to her. It's just
No,
not. You can go
I
after each other later, but not now.
you got to stifle the hurt feelings. Use it. Use it as fuel to
Well,
win
you
the
be
game
mad
and
at
not
Laura because
yeah.
she gets to go eat spaghetti. But
Yeah, right? Well, I don't know. Okay, let's talk about this spaghetti shack because you want to know what? I am not entirely sure I'd want to eat that spaghetti, especially if I was like the second, third, fourth person, because they can only go one at a time
So gross.
so gross.
and they're like
Yes, but
shoving it in
David,
their
after
mouth.
what day are we now? 27, 28?
Oh, no question. But they've
20?
done this. They've done this challenge
Yeah,
every
yeah.
year, and I don't understand why US doesn't pick up on it because it's
Okay, do you
gross
think
and it's
before they went
fun.
in there, they gave them like hand sanitizer or baby wipes or
No,
anything? How do you know? You don't think production would have done that?
No, I don't think so.
You
I
don't
think
think
they
them as a
would.
tribe said, "Hey, let's wash our hands before this
Maybe.
starts"?
I mean, they might. Listen, for future for future spaghetti shack moments. If you're a number 1 and you want to win loyalty, portion that spaghetti out. Separate portions. Hey, I
But
was
they
in
didn't
there,
have plates. There were no
but then
plates
they
or
you
anything.
so leave it on the table. It's all on the table by the time they get in there
That's
anyway.
true.
So
So
if
you're
if
saying
you
be the
portion
person
it
who
out,
look because you're the
it
first
gives
to
you
see it, so you know
yeah,
exactly how much there is. Okay.
portion it out, put a meatball in everybody's thing. You're already seeing the bottom of the bowl at this point, so that helps you.
Yes. And then when
And
you
then
go
you
back,
can
you can let them know when you go back, hey, I portioned it out so that everyone has equal
I mean,
parts.
and keep some spaghetti in the bowl, like some gross spaghetti, like I just ate over the bowl. It's
Oh,
all my
drop some in the
crumbs.
sand and then put it in there. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even gonna
yeah.
touch it. It's like, oh, it just fell. It's
There you
gross.
go. See? I don't
Or
know.
get rid of the bowl altogether. They don't even need to know the
That's true.
bowl's
They don't know the
there.
bowl's there.
I think we just
Yeah, I'm
cracked this
saying
one.
there's ways to manipulate
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
spaghetti
That's a good
shack.
one. All right.
But you know what?
Not even any garlic bread either, guys. Come on.
There wasn't any garlic bread and like there was so much can you believe that Jesse ate like what did he say? 8 meatballs?
I thought it was Ben said that. Who went first? Was it Jesse first?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He came back and said he
And
ate
he
eight.
and
ate the
I
all and
don't.
all I'm
whole
saying is that really upset Kate. Somebody
Yeah.
give Kate a freaking meatball.
Miles also didn't get a meatball.
She
It
had
was
to
the
drink
last
that
couple people
disgusting
did
beer.
not. There were no meatballs left for like the last 3 people.
Yeah. That was a lot of meatballs for
It's
one
like a
man.
real douche nozzle move. You know what I
It wasn't
mean?
very nice. Like, take 2 meatballs if you wanna be a little greedy, but then leave the rest, you know?
Well, you have to count again. The first person gets to count. If there's 8 meatballs, how many are they? Are they 8 or no? They're whatever.
I
Are they
think there might
eight?
have been, like, 10 meatballs or something. I don't know.
Like me, okay, maybe eat 2, but don't eat it so it's obviously that you ate the majority of them. Come on.
And then admit, like, "Oh, yeah, I ate 8 of them."
Because I
Really?
would say, I really hope you don't choke on them then.
I know, I would have been pretty mad. I don't blame Kate for that. Now,
And later on, his tummy be hurting, and I'd say, oh, nobody feels sorry for you.
Miles is clearly starving to death, because he didn't get any meatballs, and then he completely misread the clue and started looking through the shelf instead of the
Okay,
shelter.
seriously, was he? I mean, how do you misread?
I am assuming that they are timed. They only have a certain amount of
Yes.
time
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they're in
yeah.
Yeah.
there. And I think he was just in like panic mode and he is malnourished.
But shelter and shelf aren't even close.
No, they're not. But he's been pretty on the money about most things,
Yes,
He's
David, but at least he freaking saw it. Nobody else even freaking saw the
How
That's
did
clue.
nobody else look at the bottom of the bowl?
So is Miles stupid or is he smart? He may not have read correctly,
Oh,
but
no,
he
no,
at
no,
least
no, no, no,
found
no.
it.
Let me be
he
clear.
read smart or he played smart,
And he
read
did
stupid.
search. He did search around.
I
at
think
least,
Miles
too.
is transitioning to be one of those players that we'll see on a returnee season. I think he's that good, but I think this was a little bit bonehead.
A little
Oh,
bit.
sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
no doubt.
sure.
I don't care
It's-
how timed you are, you can't read a word.
But
I was thinking maybe the spaghetti was covering the
In
back
that
half of the
vi-
word, but it wasn't.
Yep.
well, when they showed it up, when they zoomed in,
When
but
they showed it to us.
But that's different. That doesn't mean that that's what it looked like when he saw it. They were just cutting that shot in so that we could read it.
Yeah.
Does that make
And
sense?
make it more fun for us to go,
Yeah.
God, is
What a
he a
bonehead.
bonehead?
And who was last? Was it Kate that was last?
Yes.
Yes.
See, that
But she
made me
said
mad
not
because
cool.
my favorite thing is when the last person just trashes the crap out of the place because it doesn't matter, and she
She
really
was just
didn't
so
do
pissed
that.
there was no food left. Not a
And
single
I don't
piece of
blame her.
sauce.
Did
Hmm?
she come out with like a spaghetti wrapped like a
Yeah,
baby?
she had it wrapped in a thing, and she wanted to give it
So I wasn't crazy. She had a
to
spaghetti
Petey.
baby.
It was for Petey.
Okay.
And like he wants your old noodles
Yeah,
wrapped up
exactly.
in a
Gross.
dirty piece of
Well,
paper.
Weird.
okay,
He
wait
doesn't
a
want to
minute.
eat your weird babies, your
Unless
spaghetti
somehow
baby.
it is still, if you could get enough of it and take it back to and then boil water again and then put it in water and like kind of clean it in boiling water,
Yeah, yeah.
then you could eat it.
Well, and
Yeah,
they
you
could
But
could just
boil
like
water,
rinse
so why
it.
not?
so I
Just
get
rinse
in
it out.
that situation maybe,
But
but
I've never seen them. They've
not just
never
out of
been
a dirty
able to take
napkin.
food back before, so
Yeah,
that was
that's why I was
weird.
surprised about it. Yeah, like,
They probably took it away from her.
Because there's been like one year wasn't it a candy store? I don't know how many seasons. Jamie, have you watched them all?
no, I have not watched them all. I've watched like the second half of the series.
Right. And I didn't make you watch the last episode of the first season.
No.
Oh,
Or
you
you
got to
might have
do it.
tried to and I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, oh, the
The
conclusion. That
really
was
first season or the
no,
fake
no,
first
the
season?
first season that matters.
The
Okay.
replacement first
Well,
season?
Yeah, so season 3
yeah.
in parentheses 1.
Okay.
Okay.
But that is the final try or the final challenge is epic. That's all I'll
All
say.
right.
It was like something happened that you just go.
It was just
If
amazing.
if you're never going to watch the season, go watch that.
Okay.
Okay.
Take David's advice. Go
It's
watch
probably there's probably clips of it all over.
It's
Check it out.
unbelievable, and it's unbelievable what they subjected these folks to.
Well, Kate was subjected to all sorts of torture because the only option she had to eat was a bunch of half chewed up noodles with Jesse's spaghetti spit all
And
over
she
it.
ate them.
Please.
I love that.
Plus, she's.
I love that for her is that she was eating them anyway.
I think it's funny that she gets gypped in this food challenge. In the last food challenge, she didn't like the beer. You see,
Yeah.
she's just destined to never have food. Poor Kate.
Well, okay. Now we're going to go back into Logan's story. Logan now knows that Zara can't truly be trusted, but she still only has eyes for AJ and she wants him out. And guess what? She finds an idol. So now Logan's got a little power in her back pocket. Karen is still
And
hell
you
bent.
know what I was saying then.
Yeah, yeah. But Karen
You
is
were
like,
not happy.
I need to make AJ squirm. So this is where I'm like, this is where I really start to roll my eyes because she's like, we have to split this vote because I want him to know that he's not in control here.
Then you might as well write your own name on the parchment, you
Like,
ding dong.
woman,
Because seriously,
what is this?
Okay, it's I've never seen a player go from having perfect takes for like
Yes.
the first 9 episodes to
Yep.
like completely having the wrong take consistently.
It is a little weird. It just added to the weird, bizarro world of this week.
I wonder if like the lack of food and just like the lack of
Maybe.
physical comfort's making her nuts. Because
maybe.
it's like she's not as quick witted as she was in the first 9
And
episodes.
she's getting like highly
can't let it go.
irritated and right.
Because
right.
okay, this is what someone needs to tell her, and I don't think Laura would be the one to tell her either, because those two are like an echo chamber, I think. Is that with someone like AJ, you don't let him know you're coming for him.
Mm-mm.
Duh. You know what I mean?
Nope.
You
Well,
don't
that
let
was
him,
that was
I'm
what I
gonna
said
scare
earlier
him, I'm gonna
about.
make him no, because then he will find a
But
way to
that's what
say
I said earlier about
So
Logan.
dumb.
That's why he
But the
shouldn't
thing
be.
is that Logan has been in AJ's sights from the very beginning. It's not a big deal for Logan to keep saying she wants AJ out. Karen was supposed to be his actual number one.
Yeah.
But AJ's never actually made a move against Logan. He's talked about it. He's never done it.
Right.
But
right.
he knows that
But
it's
he
better to
already
keep her for
knows
now.
he can't trust her. He already knows he
Sure.
can't trust her, but she's
Fair.
not his she isn't his highest priority right now. His highest priority is about to be Karen. Because
And
she's made that
honestly,
her problem.
the brain should be smart enough to know that no matter if you don't like each other, you got rid of Rich. Okay, we gave it to you. Rich is gone.
Yep.
But the rest of you need to stick together if you are going to take out the Brawn.
It's
You
true.
have to at merge.
It's
So
the
trying
only
to take
way.
out your own right now is stupid.
Yeah, it is dumb.
Stupid.
She's not playing the best game.
I mean, and Zara could tell them all that too. Just so you know, the Brawn over there, they're pretty solid. They're
Yeah.
not budging at
You're not going to find cracks in that
Yeah,
alliance.
it's not gonna happen.
So Miles is, he misread his clue, but somehow he still manages to find the scroll in the
Yeah,
shelter.
it's like he susses it out later. He's like,
You know,
oh,
well,
he
and it's
said
like
shelter.
they're going in and they're gonna, make
So what
repairs to it,
would
and
that clue have been there if he had found whatever it was at the
Yeah, I know
pasta
that
thing?
clue. It said check the shelter.
yeah.
He
So,
read it as check the
Oh, that
shelf.
was the clue. Okay. I
yep,
Yeah,
thought,
or
okay.
look in the near the
I thought when he
no
said
check the shelf.
shelter, I thought it meant that shelter
church.
that was there for the pasta thing.
Oh
Yeah,
I
no
thought,
no,
it
I
was.
read it
no,
as their shelter. So
no,
Yep,
you're right,
search
you're
the
right, you're
shelter,
right. Okay.
and he thought it was a shelf. So,
Yep. No,
but
no,
look
no.
at
I thought it was like that particular,
it was
all of
meant to
that
be.
little
He
things that they
found it
built.
anyway. And it's an advantage. So it's going to allow him to ask for and steal an idol. So he has to know who he suspects to have one and then take it from them.
Oh, this is going to be so delicious if he
It's
just
going to
sits
be
on it.
interesting to see if it works
He
out for
better
him.
not tell anybody that he has that advantage.
Yeah, because
Like
then they can move
zero
it. 'Cause
people.
we have actually seen this happen. It's the knowledge is power, right? Isn't that what in the US it's the knowledge is
Yes.
power advantage? And it never worked the way they wanted it to, ever. And they don't use it anymore. So let's hope in Australia they can tame it and Miles can use it
And the fact that he
correctly.
already had the fact that he's already had an idol and played it and now has another idol and now
Yes.
has this, no one is going to suspect. If he's very quiet, play the AJ game, do not tell anybody about your idols. And I don't care what Karin says, you're wrong, Karin, you don't tell anybody.
Right.
no,
Period.
that's the smart. Well, the smart people don't tell anyone. The only time that strategy isn't appropriate is if somebody saw you.
Yes.
Correct.
Then
And
you're better. Then
yep,
you know.
Correct.
you're better off just
And you
being
just hold on to
honest.
it.
Yep.
Maybe you tell someone later, but you don't tell
Although our
anybody.
guy Ferris, he had one that everyone knew about for
Right,
2/3 of the
that one's
game.
gone, that one's burnt.
But you know
They're
what he
not,
did? He
they're
never
not going to think he
talked
has
about it
another one.
again once he had it. He didn't like wear it around his neck. He just sort of like everyone knew, and he just
And
Yes.
never mentioned
Ferris,
it.
but Ferris also had an energy. See, I think that like that's such an important part on how people play their game too, because that's past the social game. What is your general energy? Because Ferris had an energy where he could talk and get along with most people. He had his social game was fine, but the energy he had was like, don't mess with me. If I
There's
think
a
you
name for
are
that kind of energy.
if I think that you're going to come at me because you know I have this, then I'm going to use it in my favor against you.
Mm-hmm.
And so no one was all like, hey, you remember, he has this idol. Let's get him out right now. That energy scared him off.
Yep.
You got to have it. You got to have that, or there's no point in anyone knowing.
So like if AJ had an idol and people knew it, it would probably work to his advantage.
Yes.
Other people, it would not.
I would say that the biggest flaw in AJ's social game, if in that situation, people are afraid of AJ simply because he'll pivot. He doesn't have a clear alliance, so he's free to pivot however he wants. But
Friends
he
has
doesn't have
ruined the word pivot for me because every time I hear pivot, I hear Ross yelling pivot.
but he does not have the intimidation. He actually just annoys people.
AJ?
Yes.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't think that I think that when he said, I'm getting hostages, I think that intimidated the people on the other side of the mat. I think the people he lives with were like, oh my God, AJ, this is annoying. Like, I think that because they're always like, he thinks he's this and he thinks he's that. He annoys them.
Do you not remember people saying the same shit about George? They were annoyed at him, but they sure did what he said.
David,
No, they weren't annoyed with him the same way.
Huh?
Who's your pick?
We can't talk about it right now without a spoiler.
Oh, okay. So you get to
Yeah.
repick is what you're saying. You might get a.
So is Jamie, by the way. Jamie had Noonan, so.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
didn't send Jamie Joe I forgot to send you my
didn't send me
meme
the
that I
marketing.
made.
I do not
wanna send
believe
it.
that. I think that Ferris was more respected and more well liked. George was more respected and more well liked. I
I think
think
George was
has
feared
that.
a little bit too, though.
But I don't think AJ has that. Their biggest fear they have with AJ is that he is smart and he will pivot. You're going to tell me I can't do this? Well, then I'm going to go this way.
But
And
that's kind of George's game.
yes, but George is a totally different energy. You can't sit down next to
Oh,
someone like AJ and match
no
it with a
doubt.
person like
They're
George.
not the same. They don't have the same vibe or the same way that they carry themselves. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that their ability to adapt to changing circumstances
but that's
is
not the
very
energy.
similar.
But that's not the
Right?
energy.
No. I know what you're saying. No, you're right in what you're saying. Their energy is completely different. I get it.
Yeah.
George and
And
Ferris.
nobody has a Ferris energy going on.
George and Ferris both have this. Oh, is that what you want to do? AJ is all
Paulie
like,
has that
and
Paulie
he
thing where
has
it's-
that too. But
Yeah, look at him.
AJ,
Right? He
more
just
like,
can't use it because he's on the bottom.
Right. Oh, so he kept quiet. I think it'll come back around though.
But AJ has this energy, you know, like there's nothing cool and calm. It's just it's chaotic. Like
except what he does so brilliantly each time is he assesses the situation, tries to figure out what would be best.
He sees it.
And it's not always what's best for him though.
Right.
It is really he has played for his people. You know what I mean?
But he sees the field. You know, like when it came time to play his idol, he didn't hesitate. He thought, "Oh no, this happened. I was not expecting it. The idol's not that important."
But what he has to do once he's in the merge is he has to tell all the brains, listen, guys, we're all here because I did that. It was ugly. I know you didn't like it. It made you mad. It made you scared or whatever. But that is why we're here. We got in their heads.
And now we have the upper hand.
During this shuffly time, there's been more Brawn go home than brains.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
I mean, that's his final tribal speech.
He needs to be telling them maybe not.
The way AJ is sitting right now, I don't know what the rest of his game's going to go, and I don't know who's going to end up sitting in that jury. But if he were going to the end of the jury right now, I feel like he's irritated people more than he's impressed people, which is stupid because we get to see the game more than what they're seeing. So we have to take our perspectives completely different into play. But
I think that's fair.
But once he spoke, they would see it.
But he's going to have to lay his case out, and he's going to have to say, I'm a champion poker player and I played this game like a game of poker. Sure, my weakness was that poker is a singular game, so I had to learn how to adapt as working in a team. If he can do that, then he'll be all right, because he needs to lay out why he is so sketchy.
I think he would be able to do that.
Pre-merge, so the pre-merge and the post-merge game are two different things.
Yes, very much so. So it really depends on who he goes into that second half with. I don't
He's
think
been
that
interesting though.
I think with George, I think with George and I think with Ferris both, they just have this like, and Polly, they have this like calm, like eyebrow raised energy where they just dare you. You know?
I agree.
And AJ is more like, AJ goes kamikaze, you know, so you don't know what he's going to do.
Now, before we turn to the main event of the evening, we need to pause for yet another 7-second break.
Oh.
All right. So let's just jump
back,
into
David? Are we
the.
back?
Are we back?
She's not giving me my "and you're back." And we're back.
We
I'm
are
going to take over that part if I have to.
We're going to go back into the challenge. At the mat, we do find out that Petey's game is still in play, but he has to baby that bicep, so he has to sit out. Go if you want to go ahead and cover the rest of that. Go for it.
I feel like in US Survivor though, that wouldn't be a thing. They would just pull him, right?
They have different rules.
There's no
Injury
way.
rules are different.
They wouldn't be taking care of him and nursing him
No,
while he's rehabbing at camp.
Well, they have the 24-hour rule on US too.
After Survivor, the last one with George, when he and was it Sharon? Is it Shannon? When they really got hurt.
Shannon.
And they
had when George could have broke his neck. Yeah.
Yeah, and she broke her like clavicle or something. Right. Like she got really hurt too. After in that situation, they had to drive something like 8 hours to the nearest hospital. So that's part of the hold, is because like to get to actual like medical care is far away. So if it's super, super far away and you can't get there, get assessed, go through everything and get back.
Isn't that weird that they have them so far away though? Because I mean, say what you
Well, no, they
will
have
about Jeff
medical.
Pro's
They just don't
setup.
have.
You
But
mean
when
like
you
to do
have to go,
additional tests?
when you have to do x-rays and that kind of thing, yeah.
And I'll say plenty of crap about Jeff Pro's setup.
I know, but I just feel like they come in and assess it pretty quickly without having to.
Also, I do believe
But they
that
also call it quickly too, right?
I know
Whether
that
they
there's
need to
like
go or not.
obviously a ton of paperwork that has to get signed, legalities of like the danger you're putting yourself in.
Well,
You
and if
can't
they have to do,
you can't
if
sue Survivor if you're injured.
right, if
There's
you
all
d-
these different rules.
but in US, if they have to do a further test to see like if something's broken or something,
Right.
that requires you being pulled from the game.
Yep. Yep.
You don't get to go get tests done and then come back.
Yeah, they don't have the same rules. And I do think that at this point now, I don't know when it was a longer game, but now with a shorter game, it does kind of make sense. Like 24 hours out of the game is a big chunk of the game.
Yeah.
Sadly,
absolutely.
yes.
But I'm sure that there's some legal differences that create that in the contracts of why they can't come back into the game. A big part in the US
Sounds
is
fair to
like
the other people.
you see people get injured in US and still be able to play. But if it's something that could make that injury worse, like you got lucky,
PD would be pulled.
he would be
Yes.
pulled because you could make that injury so much worse than it is by playing. That seems to be the way that
I
goes.
wouldn't be half surprised if the next episode 13 opens with PD being pulled from the
If
game.
we leave, if we lose PD.
If they go to individual game, they merge. He can't. I mean, he's going to be a detriment to anyone if he has to sit out all the time.
Well, they'll go to.
He's only a detriment to himself at that point.
Yeah, they'll go to
no, because they'll
individual
sometimes
challenges.
do the.
Sure, but no, but he'll be the odd man out every time then.
Right.
Which means he can never win advantage.
But do they have the rule where you can't sit back-to-back games out?
Well, I don't know in this case. See, I don't know. I think, this is one of those where they're kind of they're going to write the rules as they go.
We shall see. Stay tuned.
But anyway, he's good to stay in the game for now.
Has the time come? Jamie, are we at tribal?
No, we're at the challenge that you need to.
Oh. It wasn't my challenge, it was
Christy's challenge.
Oh wait, what challenge was this?
With our blocks, our stacking blocks.
Oh,
stacking blocks, which I love this challenge.
This one makes me super nervous. So they all have a rope hooked up to the. I don't like it at all. It was honestly, the team isn't in the circle around the stump. They have the thing in the middle that has a platform on it with all the ropes leading off in a radius, I guess, right? And they have to stack the blocks, and the first team that gets 10 stacked without it falling wins. But every single time somebody would get up their beam to put their block on, because they had to take turns, the platform was too far away, and the way that they had to reach,
there was
a
lot of like really short women on one side.
There's a lot of short armed reaches that you just like could not get there, and so it was like one would. But I think the Brains / OG Bronze were. They kind of kept very slow and steady, right? They didn't drop theirs not once, right? No. But the other one, they dropped twice and they just couldn't really recover it. And so
one of the big problems too is like having that platform where everybody has to hold that rope at the same level. That's a challenge in itself. But we did get a couple shots where the wind was coming through and ripping through.
And so like just to move that platform a little closer to the person that was on theirs, it was like the coordination of. Like, listen, I was in marching band. This was much more. It scared me, okay?
Yes, we can tell.
Zip it. Anyway, it
was really, one time at band camp.
No.
Come on, that was fun right there.
The person who was directly across from them on the radius had to take the biggest step, but then as it went closer, like lesser steps to keep that still step. No, it was making me extremely nervous, which is why I probably blocked the whole thing.
Did you notice that?
I don't like it.
By the end, one of the tribes, and it was the tribe that Miles was on, was actually whoever was bringing the block out was actually laying the rope down. They weren't even touching the rope.
Right, because why take the chance? That
Yeah,
was
why?
their.
And what
I think that,
amazes me is how
and
did
they
nobody,
started
not
that
one
early
person
on.
fell off the balance beam.
They
There was
were
a couple of times they got close.
Oh,
But
no,
the
I know.
dropping
But
the rope-
what
the
happened if they
dropping the
fell
rope
off? Was
thing?
that a start over, or was that just start over with that block? Does
I don't
anyone
know.
know?
Start over with that block. But that drop in the rope thing for them, they were doing that early on.
Yeah.
Because
Right,
like
but
if
at the
you're
beginning, they were
moving,
going out with the rope.
but no, they were like putting it
The
down.
one side put it down right away.
Yeah. So like the idea that you could get there without, because if you fall and you yank that rope, now the whole thing falls.
That's
So why
definitely
risk it?
one of
That
those
was a good.
challenges too that you can like really set up. Like if you mess up, like you're ruining it for everybody if you're just a little bit off. I would hate that one just for my own like
And
if
did they
you were
get
the
to
one not doing as
decide?
well.
Did they get to decide who went next with their block, or was it
I'm
just,
not sure
you know what I mean? Because I'd be
what
like,
the order was.
who's the least steady hand, or
They
maybe
go
who has
first.
the shortest arm reach? You
Yeah,
go first,
you go
right?
first.
Do you like that and set it up that way?
I
But
think that probably would have been a
it's
good way to
tough.
do it, but I wonder if it wasn't like a random draw order type
Yeah,
thing.
I feel like it was, but
yeah, I do too.
Well,
But
now
Jesse was good at it though with his skateboarding ability.
he's got the balance.
Good
Yep.
balance.
So we get this challenge through, and then we're gonna just like jump right into the scramble because there definitely was some scrambling. So
yeah, there was.
to kind of like sum it up, we have AJ and Polly. They're both pointing their weapons at each other. Karn is determined that there's going to be a 3-4 split, announcing to AJ that she's the captain now. Polly tries to sell
Did
Kristen.
you hear when she said that? Did you hear it in the voice of the guy who
100%.
was
The
100%.
The
nemesis?
Somalian pirate.
I am the captain now.
I am the captain now.
Captain Phillips.
Polly is trying to sell Kristen one more sham wow, for the low price of her idol. Polly, just let it go. Oh my God, she's so giving you the mom face, like, okay. I'm so tired of hearing about Minecraft. I love you. Bye-bye.
But that's good though. She's very good at putting that mask
Yeah,
there.
she is. She's got
She
it.
will be able to handle any of the BS that comes her way.
Yep.
She does not.
And
she doesn't break.
AJ is like pulling all of his poker plays.
She's the opposite of Carolyn, right?
Yes. That's perfect.
She's the opposite of Carolyn.
Actually, I think I kind of feel like if anybody could match AJ's poker face, it is her, So we got AJ and his senses are kicking in, and he is pointing out that the real danger isn't him. It isn't Polly. It's Logan. Keelan says, yeah, but Polly first.
Yep.
Okay. Now
he's not wrong. He's just keeping things. Let's simmer down.
Yep. Let's just
stick to the plan.
let's play it out. Now the scramble and the scurry and all of the snake oil selling was all for naught. Because they get to tribal and JLP is like, hey, got news for you. Ben left the game, thus concludes tribal. Bye-bye.
Well, I knew it was
like
non-elimination at that point because
are you sure?
When Jonathan showed up, there's like 3 minutes left in the episode. And I go, well, clearly we're not doing tribal. Because if you noticed, it was only 49 minutes long.
But there's been other times, couldn't they have just come to the beach and told them they didn't have to go to tribal?
That's the way it usually goes, like that I remember.
Well, I have to figure that JLP was dealing with whatever went on.
Like it went really close to tribal.
And meanwhile, there's another crew that's filming them walking to tribal.
Right. So how long do you think between the challenge and them going to tribal? How much time do you think would elapse?
It couldn't have been very much because I just feel like otherwise they would have gone to camp.
No, I think it was a couple hours because I think whatever drama was going on, that's where JLP was.
It happened in that pocket.
Right.
After the challenge. Yeah, I don't.
So
what do you guys think? What do you think?
So spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We are going to talk about things that may or may not be true. We are going to be talking about rumors and innuendos and things we've read online.
Backed up with some evidence or some.
Well,
what I'm saying, but my point is, I want to say going into this, we don't know any of this to be factual, other than Ben has left the game.
But I'm sure, just like every other person who watched this episode, we all grabbed our phones immediately and Googled, why did Ben leave the game?
Right.
Not?
So what this is...
I was actually on a plane. I didn't.
What this entire quick segment is going to be is speculative. This is all
There you go.
speculative. It's we have what
We
information
don't
we
know
have is
anything.
right. It's conversations that people have had about it that may or may not have some information, and then Ben's actual like TikTok,
Right.
Instagram
And
We'll
like
get both
and
video.
like
sides, right?
crap we read
Or
on Reddit, for
Right.
instance.
So, I mean, we have every
no,
different
no,
degree of
no.
possibility between there being harassment allegations, legal obligations,
Well,
family
what's
No,
interesting
emergencies.
what's interesting about the harassment allegation one is there has been a leak that there was somebody was involved in sexual harassment directed at Morgan. But nobody has ever associated Ben with that. People are just making the jump for
because this happened
information
that
that
yeah.
already existed out there.
Right.
Okay,
So
but
there's
hold
no
on a second.
evidence it was Ben. It could happen
Okay,
next week or the week
it could.
after.
However, if you go on Instagram, on these people, they always follow all the
Hmm.
people from their season. And Ben and Morgan do not follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah. And I believe Kate
Something may have
too.
happened there.
Yeah, but
Right. No,
Kristen jumped on in support of Ben. So that why would she do that if he
we
had
don't
done
know.
something he ought not have?
But we don't know. Kristen wasn't on that tribe during that time, was she? So
No.
you don't know.
And
If she wasn't there, she might not know.
and the
But
report that comes back from Ben in the videos is that a couple different things is one, he tore his calf muscle at the very beginning. That started to heal up, but then in the
but
last
editing
challenge
never
he tore
showed
it.
it.
Right. And in the last challenge it tore again. And that he also had gotten pneumonia from sleeping in that shelter that was raining. And that also he apparently showed up in the game being infected
with Reed River.
with that river virus.
Yeah,
So
river fever. That's like from the region.
Ross River, Ross
Ross
River
River.
virus,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he has a slew of things that he was dealing with
Okay.
medically on his report.
Except this happens on the very episode where we see a medical thing happen. We
Yep.
see how production deals when someone is injured or someone is sick, and that is not how they acted with Ben.
Right. Yep.
So that leads me to believe
that
it wasn't
okay.
that kind of thing.
And this is where I'm torn, because
Just
this
logically.
is where we can, if this was a US Survivor, because it has had moments like this before. But if this had happened, this exact same thing with the same people happened in US Survivor, the idea of being cut from the edit and just not really having much of an edit unless you had to be in there, that would stand firm with what's happening here.
Mhm.
But Australia Survivor, like, purple edits people all the time. There are people that get like next to nothing until the last 3 weeks. So that's not out of the normal for Australia.
Yes, but would they would at
okay,
least
but no one's ever
we'd at
been
least see them
no
saying
one ever
goodbye
has
to
been
him.
purpled like Erica. Let's be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
We would. So you're saying they leave the game because of an injury or an illness, and we don't even see their tribe saying goodbye to them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
that's the part that's weird.
There's definitely the things
edit,
that are,
Well,
agree with
but
you.
again, we'll know when the next episode opens,
because
right?
Australia does backtrack. Yes.
Yeah, they love to do that. Let's now show you all the things we didn't show you last week.
Right. Because we had an extra
So that's why I
long
don't believe
tribal
the
of 2 minutes.
Now, then someone had said, well, maybe it was a personal reason or a family emergency.
Again, you would think they'd show
But
it.
again, I would think, because in other seasons they have handled it that way. Apparently someone's grandmother had a stroke one season.
Right, yes.
They came to the beach and let them know.
They decided to leave.
And they opted to leave, right.
Yeah.
Correct. That was not what happened here, so that leads me to believe that is not the issue.
My biggest indicator of something was a foul is that when JLP said he was cut from the game and had to leave, and they were like, "Oh my God!"
He quit the game. He didn't say he was cut.
Right. He made the exact same expression that he made when he threatened to take them all to tribal. Like, he was just, I just like, you know what? No.
He had the "I'm over it" face versus the I feel bad for this guy or I'm concerned
Right,
for this
right.
guy
So I'm
face.
very curious to see going forward
He had
if
the
it's even mentioned.
he had serious dad face.
Yes.
Oh, it'll be mentioned.
Yep. He definitely did. So we'll see what happens in the following.
So the thing I was gonna say about the Instagram thing. Okay, so Ben does not
Yep.
follow Morgan,
Right.
but Ben does follow
Everyone
Kate,
else.
Miles, Kate, and Miles. Okay, but Kate, Miles, and Morgan do not follow Ben. So
Okay.
clearly, if there's three people in the cast that are not following Ben, they're like solidarity. But Ben is only not
Yeah.
following one of them. Clearly, Ben has shown who he thinks he had the issue with.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's sad.
Maybe.
We won't.
we
Maybe
probably won't
I
know
hate to
all of it, but
even I hate to even speculate something like that could ruin a guy's life without evidence that it's true. I mean,
right.
Oh,
just
I don't think anything we could say could do that. But it would.
well, I'm just saying
It'll
that
already
even
happen over
this
there
Right.
even the
if that's the
innuendo is
case.
hurtful. I guess is my point.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to
And I'm
see.
not saying he did anything wrong. I'm just
Right.
I
saying
know.
the appearance. It appears this way that the
Right.
tide went one way versus the other. But
Well, the one thing we do know is that if it
Well,
is
the fact that he
something,
released the video
yeah,
says something. I don't
right.
know exactly what, but
Now, here's the deal. This is my best guesstimation. If we go forward and it's talked about, even if there's not like even if we don't see a video going back, like see video footage of it going back,
Mhm.
but it is talked about, we may or may not get more information. The- If if this really was just health issues, I will say this: production did him dirty. If that's
Yes.
what it is,
Now
production did him wrong.
I did see
editing did him wrong. Yeah.
I did see someone suggest a fourth scenario. What if something happened that was not nefarious? It was just, oh, and it was a health issue or it was something like that.
Right.
What if now, after the fact, there is some sort of legal suit pending?
Oh,
Yeah.
Then they probably would edit all of that out
Yep.
because they would not want any of that shown. However, I don't think that would have shown, I don't think Jonathan would have had that face at
well,
tribal.
but
Yeah.
they did also say that the what do you call it when you say something about somebody that isn't true on TV?
Libel.
Was it? No,
Oh,
what is it called?
slander.
Disparagement or whatever. Yeah. So like the slander
That's a big
laws
law.
are very, very strict in
Okay.
Australia. So they wouldn't take a risk
Okay.
unless it was a slam dunk.
Right.
Correct.
Well, it's definitely juicy and it's a little bit
Well,
chaotic, which really kind of fits the entire
listen.
theme of this
I
season
don't know
so
what
far.
happened, but just based on what we saw prior to this episode, I was looking forward to the merge to see what he was going to do because I thought he was an interesting player,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Same. Yep.
he seemed to have like the wheels turning, like in his interactions with AJ, like
Right.
Agreed.
yeah,
Dude was my winner pick.
he was, and now he's gone.
I
So
think I
listen, before we get into the final goodbyes of all this, we have to cover this really quick.
I think Jamie gets to pick first, though.
Here's the
Hers left
thing.
first.
Here's the thing. I'm going
yeah,
to
but
be
I think
honest.
mine should be regarded as a first because the medical removal shouldn't constitute.
We don't know if it was medical rule, so
Okay. Who's yours, Christy? Was yours Jesse
Keelan.
or was
No,
No, I have
Keelan?
Keelan.
Keelan. I have Keelan.
Okay. I would want to pick Keelan. I'm letting you play out loud what happened in my head. I would want Keelan. I really am tempted to pick Logan just because David doesn't like her that much, and like that's literally the only reason why.
And you love to get.
Oh,
go.
I would
You know
so
what I'm
dance
saying?
on your grave when she gets thrown
you know.
out.
So there is
He'll be happy
that.
at the normal. Don't do that.
But
Don't do that.
you know what? I'm gonna do the thing that I do best, and that's root for the underdog who's emerging, and I'm gonna go for Miles.
Damn it.
Damn I knew you were
Yeah, I
Damn
still
it,
got to
damn
piss him off no matter what. Excellent.
Either
Either way, I win.
Yes, he's emerging. And you know what? Miles was one of those people that I almost wanted to pick him the first week when we
You
were
did.
first picking.
Yep.
Because I just thought there was something about him that would be kind of unassuming. And then there was those couple episodes where it seemed like he's just getting he's so annoying, they're gonna cut him for that.
Yeah.
But he seems to have gotten past that. They stupidly think he's the useful idiot. Fine. That's
He
okay.
might find himself in a little bit more danger
Maybe
when he's
he's the
back
new
with AJ,
Joker.
but
You know
we'll
what I
I mean,
mean?
see.
he's gonna draw fire at some point. So is AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead
That's my
at my
thinking.
backup pick because I would have picked Miles. I have to be honest, but my backup pick is Morgan. I'll take her.
All right.
Mm.
Miss Morgan.
Maybe we'll get to hear her talk one episode.
She might have more to
She's
do.
an Olympic athlete. I have to figure, and nobody,
And she fits your
nobody's.
type. Don't even go there.
She's not my type at all.
You
She
love
is a hottie
on
matati.
these shows. You love a tall, statuesque woman. Let me
Yeah,
say.
with a little bit of muscle. Yep.
Look
If
at him.
she
Yeah.
if she pulled her
It's
hair
true.
over
Well,
to
but
the
again, I
side,
like a short,
be
petite
done.
woman. I like a woman with a little meat on her. I mean, I'm kind of an
You
equal
like
opportunity
kind of
liker.
yeah. You kind of like the ladies, David. It's
I
just
do.
it's
But
how
I
it
hardly
is.
ever pick
But
them.
the
But I
tall,
picked one
strong
here.
ones, he really likes them. So.
So okay,
I like Shan, and she wasn't tall. She was
Okay.
tough as hell though.
if you have any thoughts on our winners picks, if you have any thoughts or inside deets on the entire Ben saga of everything, if you think Karn is acting like a cuckoo baby head, whatever, you can send us your feedback and you can let us know what you think
Or
and
if
we
you know
will read it.
What's the deal with chicken parm at the pub?
What's
Let
the
us
chicken
know.
parm situation at the pub? Yeah, give us an
I
email.
have a feeling we're gonna be like a meme in Australia. Here's 3 American idiots
These
who don't
dumb
understand
idiots who don't
farm.
know what pub
Listen,
food is. Like I
I'm
don't
just
care.
saying.
I'll go and have it.
I'm
Sounds
just
good.
saying, in our pubs, we have good stuff. It's just different, and that's fine
Different.
too. I'm not
So,
opposed to a chicken parm at all.
Jamie
and
doesn't even want to
usually,
drive past Tulsa, and she's gonna fly to Australia.
have you been to Tulsa?
No,
I mean, like, it's all right, but I'm not like, I
I'm
mean, like,
sorry to
yeah.
our Tulsa listeners.
If someone's like, hey, Jamie, do you want to go to a pub in Tulsa? Or would you like to go to a pub in Australia? My treat. Buddy, I'm going to Australia. Come on now.
I hear you.
This is how it is. Anyway.
Assuming I don't need to get a passport and I don't get
So listen, you comment whatever you want. Just send that feedback, and you can send it to tallythefeedback@yahoo.com, or you can find us
Tell
on
David how
Facebook.
much you love Logan. He'll love
Yeah,
it.
defend Logan's honor. Dang it. Head over to Instagram. You can also listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast at the Jay and Jack's Whole Enchilada feed, alongside Survivor with Jamie, Jack, and Colleen, the broadcast, the Rebelcast, the Amazing Race with Crazy Hank and Cindy. We would like to give a shout out to the Jay and Jack patrons, especially those who contribute at a certain level. We have Eckhart Rickner, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, Ed the Creepy Poopy Head Mailman. And if you would like to be a patron for Jay and Jack, you can go to patreon.com/Jay and Jack. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe. We love
Jack wants that $1 million subscriber. Come on.
He needs it.
He needs to retire.
We want to give it to him. But we like hanging out here and talking with you guys. So, those things allow us to keep doing it. So like and subscribe. Next week, we're going to be back here on Thursday, I believe.
And I had heard we might have a special merge guest. Is that
yes,
true?
we're going to be adding a place to the table as it is merge week, and that means it is time for us to merge with our buddy from Serious TV Drama, Mr. Candiotti, who will likely, nay, definitely, have a thought or two to share with us. So
he'll bring his own conspiracies and thoughts, and
he will bring it. He is not afraid to say what he wants to say. So come in and enjoy all of that. David, Christy, thanks as always. And I look forward to talking again with you guys next week. So until then, have a great evening or afternoon, everybody. And maybe we'll see you at the pub.
Yeah,
See you later.
Good day, mate. I gotta go eat my spaghetti. Oh, jeez.